So I wanted to do this one with the voiceover. I actually realized that I believe voiceover is helping me gather all my thoughts. So maybe I would have done a better page if I had done this with the mic. But I'm gonna read it in case you don't. Well, it's not very legible anyway. This is on the 1st of Jan, but it's March 15th. Oh my god, March 15th. That's when I started my book 2 years ago. So I wrote Jihangir September 2016 with Kema at home. Kema is my friend and she was my flatmate back then. Jihangir is a neighborhood in Istanbul where I lived. And I was relating her some type of emotional troubles that I was having. And she just replied, "You have a choice, you know." And that moment was like the ray of sunlight of Mufasa came onto my forehead and just like opened everything. It's her words were here, simple and true. But the moment was like a spiritual awakening type, and that would come back in and out of my consciousness for the next month, and that's when I had my spiritual awakening. So thank you, Kama, and thank you, Divine, and thank you, Capucine, for being ready. Simple, true. I had never acknowledged I did have a choice, but I did. Habituated to bend to people's big feelings and in fear make their way the way, and never ever considering I could choose. I could step away. I was free. I am free. And you are too. All the years that followed are the continuation and reintegration of the concept of free will. So discern. Connect to your desires through the sacral chakra. Check your ego. Breathe. And with sovereignty, take the next intuitive step towards your path. So how do we do this? We are co-creating with the divine between destiny, divine timing, and desire. So there's a big aspect of timing that we're going to talk about in this spread. And then desire, the sacral chakra. What do you want? What do you want? And then once you figure it out through discerning with out loud, I choose I am ready for out loud, because you are creating something by speaking it. Your thought became manifested sound waves. So you're already making something manifest when you're speaking it out loud. I know, right? But it's only just the first verses of the Bible. Like God said, let there be light, and so the word, made light happen. So speak. And I did a whole video where I was talking about my relationship with devas, which are the energy, the consciousness, the beings that create this world, that create everything that you witness, whether it is manifested or not, whether it is tangible or not. And I did that whole video on Patreon in the month of January. So you can check it out. What I really love is talking to my guides out loud and say, show me the way towards, show me the way, show me the truth, help me understand. So I speak those things out loud, and then I trust that the next few hours are going to inform me and show me, and it usually is accompanied by a lot of extrasensory moments that I don't control. So that's when they speak to me. So I have developed a whole relationship with my guides that comes through clairsentience, which is in my body, as well as clairaudience and other things. But so I say show me the way, then things are going to happen, but I also follow through, which means there might be some intuitive steps that come out of the blue, and just like, oh, okay, now you need to go down and go buy this, or oh, okay, you need to go check out this book or this video, or it's like little nudges that if you follow through, they're actually part of you walking your path, of you making progress towards what you have just desired. What you have decided is your desire and therefore your destination. Yes, it's that simple. Incremental progress. Like it's really this. Making something happen is as simple as that. It's a co-creation with the divine where you are connecting to the whole part of your being. We can talk about different chakras, but it's also subconscious, conscious, hyperconscious, and just creating a conversation. And in that conversation, you're both speaking and listening. And it's a dance with life, it's a dance with yourself, and a dance with time. So we're going to talk about time. Time is, well, I'm not a very patient person, right? I am a fire moon and fire Venus and Scorpio sun. I am not a patient person. Or I wasn't. Well, I still am not, because I'm very, I don't know, it's just, you know, if I sense something, I want it to happen now. I don't want to wait for it. But sensing something is a pleasant reality that I want to discover and explore and immerse myself. Doesn't mean, the sensing doesn't mean that it's already created, that it's already available. And that is kicking my butt every day. So I want to create something here about time, which is with a big T, which also corresponds to that trust. I'm sad that the glue created all of this. Anyway, no more glue for me. Only that little glue tape. We're going to connect with Saturn. This is the moon. It has nothing to do with Saturn, but I don't know why I just connected it to Saturn. Maybe I have a Saturn stamp. And finally, nature. Because you might know, if you've been following my channel last year, I offered videos for every month of the year of the Celtic calendar, which is one tree per month, one archetype, one energy, and that initiation into all the seasons and how plants and trees react to is a way to teach you time. It's a way to teach you that there's gold in every piece. When I say gold, I just mean there's meaning and there's value. There is value in every step of the cycle. And yes, it's cool to have blooming flowers, but the winter, the absence of leaves, the emptiness, the stillness is as important as the bloom of the flower or the harvest of the fruits. I feel like I am teaching that to myself as I am speaking it right now. Okay, I would like to find a little Saturn image. I know that I must have a little Saturn thing. So Saturn is, as you know, one of the planets in the solar system. It also is an archetype and a consciousness, if you believe in that. It's a collective archetype as well as a floating planet in our system, and that planet has different cycles. It has a rotation, a revolution around the sun that takes about 28, 29 years. And when you turn 28, 29, that's when you have your Saturn return, which means Saturn comes back exactly where it was when you were born. And you're face to face with a lot of lessons where you're basically reviewing how you've been acting according to the authority, see? the rings of Saturn. Saturn is not on it, but I'll take it. Saturn will help you to review how you dismiss your own authority, your own knowledge, your own sovereignty, your own... when I say authority, I mean... how can I say that? Why do I lose my words? Because it's Mercury retrograde. Your own ownership of your life, right? Are you just doing things the way other people want you to do, or are you doing things the way that your authentic self knows what is right for you? Because what applies to others might not apply to you. Just like here, when I'm sharing my project and my beliefs and what I've learned from life, it applies to me, it might not apply to you, and you don't have to take it. You don't have to resonate with it. You can just listen, discard it, be like, okay, cool girl, but like that doesn't apply to me, or that doesn't resonate with me at this moment, or yeah, it might have resonated before but not anymore. Just don't come at me, but yeah, each to their own, right? And I'm also open to changing my mind about everything that I've ever said, because what I'm sharing right now is only a reflection of my perspectives right now, my experiences of life right now, which is evidently going to change with each passing day. So yeah, my experiences are amounting, accruing, as much as I'm forgetting things, and it's always going to be, you know, a balance, a dance, and we're always evolving and changing, and that's just the nature of life. So I want to say, yeah, Saturn return is a big, big, big moment in your life. It happens, therefore, around 28 and a half and 30, 31. It depends on which sign, to be honest, because when Saturn enters the sign that it was in for you, then that's when your Saturn return starts, and it will accrue and become more and more intense as it approaches the original degree that it was in when you were born, and you can check that on your astrological chart. And then once it leaves for good that sign, you're a changed person, usually. And Saturn just moved into Aries right now, so there's a whole new generation of people that is going through their Saturn return, and the Saturn in Pisces people, which are one of my brothers, for example, are getting off the hook for a little while, and they have really separated from the collective conditioning and become more integrated into, well, hopefully integrate more into their original essence. I hope I haven't lost anyone here. So I'm going to, just talk a little bit about timing. And I got this from a museum like a few weeks ago. Time is what keeps the light from reaching us. And I was like, I love the blue, so I'm taking it. But I'm quizzical about the wording here. And I kept it and kept it and kept it. And I just couldn't understand the wording. And I live in Turkey, and sometimes the translations are a little bit quizzical, let's say. But today, yesterday, I understood what that meant. If you understand the light, like obviously scientifically time, because we talk about light years, for example, when we talk about, the sunlight reaching us, Earth, we're talking about light years. So we're quantifying space by time. If we see the light as being the manifestation that we want, the evolution, the energy that is going to feed us because we're, getting literally nourished by sunlight. If we see light as being that abundance, about being that evolution, about being that growth, about being the progress, the continuation of whichever journey you're on, then it's true that time is what's keeping it from you. And the only solution is to be patient, to trust, to have faith, and to know that if you've seen the light, if you've seen what you wanted, the only thing between you and that thing is time. And obviously all of what we talked about here with connecting with your desires and then telling the universe, I want this, and then again there's an element of time, whether it's fast or slow. It can get faster if you're putting yourself into action and trusting your gut and following the guidance that you're getting. But yeah, I don't know, it did something to me. I don't know if I'm explaining it well, but now that postcard is telling me something. And so all we need to do is inform the world, the people, the universe, that this is something that we're interested in, something that we will apply ourselves to, and then co-creating it with life, co-creating it with the divine, and trust that it's about to happen. I hope I'm not sounding too illuminated and disconnected from reality. All right, so I'm going to try to apply what I just shared in words here, and we'll see, right? Okay. Alright, I'm going to head off, so I'm going to tell you what I wrote. Time is what keeps the light from reaching us is actually from Meister Eckhart, a medieval mystic. And the quote continues and continues, and it kind of goes around. But for me, that sentence meant, it's coming. The only obstacle is time. Like what you want, the light, the abundance, the vision, which means if you've seen it, you resonate with it, it's gonna come. The only obstacle is time. Just wait. And just like nature and the cycle of the seasons, it's something that's gonna happen no matter what. It's coming, no doubt, no fear, trust, have faith. And obviously, it's not about staying passive. You can keep, show me what I need to do, show me the way towards, and then incrementally move towards it. Here, I was like, let me, talk about my story, my own relationship with it. So I wrote, patience is the hardest lesson. Patience is the hardest lesson. We are not taught to wait. I feel trapped by having to wait. But when it's something that includes others, then it is only normal. I do not have control, which is a very Saturn lesson too, control. So it's not patience I struggle with, it's powerlessness or perceived powerlessness, which is a good reminder. What can I do here? How can I recenter my focus on what is in my power to change and accept everyone's timing and sovereignty? And the continuation of the quote by Meister Eckhart brings us back to the present moment. And so I drew the spiral because that was the initiation of going deep within, recenter, right? Going deep within and being in the present moment, in the now, with the ivy plant, which is a really, really beautiful archetype that I explored in a video that I'm going to link down below. The ivy is one of the archetype, one of the month of the Celtic calendar. So you can check it out and also go towards that timing, that trust, that let's keep to the present moment and co-create with the divine. All right, I will come back and I will come back to this page time and time again. That's the process. Like I don't finish pages. I'm going to turn and do something else and keep going back and forth throughout the year. Thank you for being here. I hope this was not boring, and let me know what you recommend me to. Like, what do you think about time? What do you think about patience? What do you think about time is what keeps the light from reaching us? I want all of this to be a co-creation, and if anything is super cool, I'll write, I'll add what you commented, what you wrote down, what you referenced, what you shared, and also your art. Yeah, you can send me your art, your collages and inspiration, like anything. I'm gonna put my email address and you can send me anything that I can add to this, because this is a collective project. Thank you. Take care.